What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and Ben Davison. Okay, now I finished a video. It was like the first volume about Tyson Fury and his cheating pre-Wilder. Okay, and the question is, did Wilder or did Fury cheat? Have Fury ever cheated? And yes, he did cheat. You know, he did cheat. Did Ben Davison help him take padding out of the gloves? Did he know about it? Obviously, if what the conversation Ben Davison said to a Nicholas Asbury, if that was the case, if that was true, then that's true. But the question is, has Ben Davison ever signed off on it? Has he ever said, well, we take it out to give him, you know what I'm saying? Is that documented? If it's documented, that means it's true. You know, if they have Ben Davison on camera, right, or in an interview saying, yeah, we take that out of the gloves for Tyson for more confidence, right? Right? Then that's true. Yes. And like I told you guys, it's more so a group effort when cheating. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the fact that what did the cheating mean to Deontay Wilder? Absolutely nothing. It has everything to do with Nicholas Asbury. If anybody should be mad, it's Nicholas Asbury. You know what I mean? Or Vladimir Klitschko with the drugs, right? Because that's another form of cheating. Nadrolone, or whatever. That's a form of cheating, right? Because at the time when they tested Tyson Fury, he had high levels of the shit. They blamed it on wild boar meat, but then a year after that, they then popped him or decided or viewed him as having taken performance-enhancing drugs by taking some form of drug that made his nadrolone levels high. Okay? So, if anybody should be mad again, it's not Wilder. But speaking of Wilder and people that are fanatical about Wilder, the Wilder channels, those cats, why isn't Ben Davison on the chopping block? Like, why would you attack Javon Sugar Hill like they did? Why would you attack Mark Breland, which was the trainer of Deontay Wilder for many, many, many years, from over a decade? Why would those guys attack those men when those channels are supposed to be a pro-black channel? You know, for black people channel. You know, and you're going after, or another black guy, Kenny Bayless. Right? Remember him? The referee? Deontay Wilder called him a crab in the barrel. The crab in the barrel mentality, that means where, if you guys don't know what that means where another black man will hold another black man down, just like crabs in a barrel. You know, just like crabs in a barrel. You see what I mean? So crab will see another crab, he'll grab it. You know what I mean? No, you're staying down with me. So that's exactly what he meant. He meant that, and that's how he wanted to portray Kenny Bayless. You know, and then that's stupid because Kenny Bayless, I think, was there for Wilder. He made sure Wilder didn't really get knocked out. I honestly think he was the one that stopped the fight, because he did the same thing for Wilder that he did for McGregor. He didn't want McGregor getting totally knocked out because it just looked bad for either side, right? For the side, especially the side that got knocked out, right? So he didn't want that image, right? So he stopped the fight, and then later on the towel was thrown in. So basically, it's like the fight was going to be stopped regardless. But again, if you look back at cheating, the cheating part of that is irrelevant. But we are back in the yesteryear, which, you know, proves absolutely nothing that has anything to do with the victory that Tyson Fury had over Deontay Wilder. It reminds me of a movie called Flight. If you guys remember Flight, I'm a Denzel Washington fan. Flight was a story about a guy named Whip Whitaker. He was a pilot, you know, played by Denzel Washington. Well, Denzel Washington was a pilot that was an alcoholic, a drug abuser. He did everything under the sun. He was sleeping with one of his, spoiler alert, people that haven't seen it, but he was sleeping with one of his stewards or flight attendants, you know, and then they had a relationship or whatnot. And he ended up getting on a flight that ended up crashing, but he saved a lot of people on the flight. But the problem was that he was an alcoholic. So he had, like, the toxicology report showed that he had this in the system and that in the system. So it was one of those weird situations. The overall problem was he was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he was still able to save the people. So him being an alcoholic in that situation had nothing to do with the fact that he saved those people. He could, you know, even if he was sober, that wouldn't have happened. You see what I'm saying? Whereas Tyson Fury might have cheated in the past, and people might have looked at him as a cheater. But for one thing, it didn't matter that he cheated or not. It just it didn't matter if he fought him fair and square that night. The matter is to other people that he was a cheat before. Just like they did with Denzel Washington's character, right? They didn't care, hey, did you do that? You know, it was the fact that, hey, he was an alcoholic and he needed help. But at the end of the day, Tyson Fury might have did some shady stuff, and because he did shady stuff, they're trying to throw the book at him based on what he did in yesteryear. Okay, so that's the comparison of those two. But with Ben Davison, I think Ben Davison should have been looked at very, very closely, more closely in accusations. But he wasn't. Why? Because Ben Davison wasn't around anymore. And since they wasn't around anymore, they didn't give a shit, which is wrong. If you want to really put someone under someone's head under the chopping block, you have to bring all the factors to the equation. You have to bring Ben Davison. You have to bring him up. And I know Ben Davison, you know, they asked him about his allegations of cheating in the second fight, which he had nothing to do with the second fight. You know what I'm saying? That was that. He had nothing to do with the second fight. He had nothing to do with the fact that Tyson Fury beat up Deontay Wilder. He had nothing to do with that. But the first fight is the fight that started all of Glovegate, right? So that's exactly what it was, you know. And that is another factor when you're dealing with Tyson Fury and his cheating. But again, the irony of that is the things that they say about Tyson Fury may be true. But what the fuck does that have to do with him beating up Deontay Wilder? And the irony, and another ironic thing about that is, if he wouldn't have beat up Deontay Wilder, they wouldn't even been making all this shit up. That's why it's made up. That's why it's looked at, you know, oh, he did that back then? Wait, he did what back then? He had drugs in his system? Ooh, he took the gloves out of the padding out of the gloves? Ooh, them gloves were messed up. Ooh, you know what? Glovegate. Right? But anyway, that's my counterpunch on this conclusion of Tyson Fury cheating. Did he cheat? You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.